Hello everyone, I'm Michelle from Maternal Being. I've got a beautiful young lady across from myself, Marnie. Marnie, would you like to introduce yourself on my podcast today?
Yeah, hi. So Mairi Taylor, aka the Menopause rock star, and I am all about natural solutions for well-being, which is why we are like kindred spirits.
Totally.
So I have come out of the corporate world 10 years ago. I've been running my own business for 11. And really, the most important thing is that I am now 2 years post-menopause, and I've been growing and evolving and really stepping into the menopause, and my mission is to empower and show other women that there is another way, because
Totally.
we have been kept small, kept frightened, kept in anger, fear and frustration for too long. And there's a big movement at the moment, and there's so many opportunities and options for women to consider. So thank you for this opportunity to have this really important conversation.
And I think it is really important for ladies out there to understand, these changes in your body can happen at quite an early age as well, like myself. So, I started at the age of 38. I'm nearly 43 now, and I know how difficult it's been for myself to manage a business, to manage a family, to be a daughter, to have these different hats at different times, but also, wake up in the morning and having the wobbles that you have and the flushes and not being able to breathe and then the thought of exercise and all those different things, all the things that were just the norm to me, being really, really, really difficult, and also scary that you're losing your identity. And that does make me quite emotional, because I know what that feels like as to keep these things up in the air with these with work and with your family as well, and being a friend and trying not to isolate yourself, and wanting to go down the natural route for me was really, really important. And having Marnie in my life has helped me massively. She probably doesn't realise how much it has helped me with the small little bits that we've done. Just the autumn change when she gave me her first, bead bracelet with the essential oils, and to enjoy the change, which I've always struggled with autumn, and being able to review a bit like an oak tree and how it grows its roots into the ground, to look at the things that you've done within a space of a year, and to actually rejoice it and review it, instead of going next thing. And that was a big thing for me, to actually facilitate that time, to take some time for myself. So I thank you for that, and many other things that we're going to be doing with each other, and we have been doing at the moment. So Marnie, where do I start with you? Well, there's so much. Okay. So when did you first notice that you were going through the menopause?
When you're preparing for these sorts of conversations, and as you can see, we're note free and we're shooting from the hip, but it was really interesting to be asked that question, because I would actually say that for me, I was probably Mrs. Smug McSmug till I was about 51.
Okay.
So up until that point, I would probably say I had no symptoms. And I was like, I've got this sussed, I'm doing all the things, I'm walking my talk, things are going really, really well. And ironically, I had my first hot flush driving back from Devon after a super successful launch of a roadshow that I was doing about enlightening and educating women to understand their female cycle, their natural flow and menopause. And so I started dancing with it. And I would actually say, for me, the last 2 years have been the most challenging for me. And that predominantly has been because of some of the emotional stuff that's come up. And this has been an absolute game changer for me, because historically, like everything I was doing was all about physical. It was all about let's understand estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, cortisol, all the things. Let's understand that. Let's think about how we're looking.
So interesting you say that, because I've just done a podcast just a minute ago, and guys, watch it, that I was doing with Sam. Sam was exactly the same. Was the physical side. For me, it's not been that at all. So
Right.
it just shows how different we all are. Mine was probably because of what I do for a living in regards to the gut, but it was the emotional side of things. And that connection there of like, oh my God, like, you know, I can sort all those other things out, the physical things, but that emotional thing of it, like the hot flush coming over you, and you're like, well, I need to get through my day, and now I feel sick, and now I can't think straight, and how am I going to do this? That panic, and so yeah, I just had to put it in there because yeah, it's really interesting to hear you say that so many people go down that route.
Yeah, so it's always been about the physical, and then it switched to being all about the emotional, because about 2 years ago, maybe a bit longer now, because time seems to be in a vacuum at the moment, doesn't it? You know, I in the same month I discovered that my mum had Alzheimer's and my best friend was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I just went into frozen mode, and I can now look back and appreciate that, like most women, I was in Superwoman, keep going, keep spinning the plates, keep it all up in the air. If I'm busy, I don't need to think about my emotions. And then the last 18 months has been an opportunity to really sit and go, okay, what is coming up? And so for me now, a big focus of the work I do is helping women to retire Superwoman, so that they can show up without burning out, because I am the queen of burnout. I am the queen of not acknowledging, not listening to my gut, just pushing it down, stuffing it down. And as we know, that then manifests and shows up in so many other ways.
Yeah, totally.
In the body. And it's interesting, whenever I get a hot flush, for me, it's like the red light coming on in the car.
Yeah, and you know what? You hit the nail on the head there. Because I take everything, I do everything, but as soon as I've pushed myself too far, Marnie, you've nailed it. It's that F moment.
Yeah.
I need to give myself time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't do all of this all together. And when I met Sloane at the Arnold Festival, the best advice he said to me was, you can't do everything together. Even though he doesn't know anything about me, but you know what, it hit a raw nerve for me, and it was like, come on, you're not getting any younger now, and you're going through these changes, and you've got these you've achieved all these different things. You need to take more time. You're not going to be able to be burning out like you did when you were in your early 20s and 30s. It's all changing now. I just wish I'd had that wisdom when I was in that age at that time.
Absolutely.
You know?
This is the importance of us having these
and my body not getting older.
Yeah, but look, if this is what old bodies are looking like, I'm like, hell yeah, let's bring it on. You know, again, part of my background is my sister died when I was 30. So for me, every day that we get to wake up and make a choice about whether we go hell yeah or hell no is an absolute privilege. And it's because we've been left so uneducated.
Yeah, we have.
And again, you know, this is for me why it's so important, like that we're having this conversation, that other women are having, and anyone who identifies as a, you know, all of that, we need to be having these conversations. Because what's also interesting is at this time of life, as you're, you know, in your mid-40s, and you've got, or early 40s, I should say, in case you're not comfortable with mid.
I don't care.
So
it's a number for me. It's just how I feel. That's the most important thing.
You've got a young family who still need you.
I'm an older mum.
You're an older mum. But most women are, because we were told we could have it all.
Yeah.
But you're also at that time of life where that estrogen's starting to drop, and you're like, get away. Actually, I'm starting to move into that next phase of my life where I don't want people hanging off me and needing me. I need to go and be in the shepherd's hut and quiet and on my own. So we've then got this dichotomy of women going, but I love my children, but why do I not want them? So like you said, that identity crisis. So again, the more we can educate, the more we can empower to say, well, maybe you do need to go and book the shepherd's hut once a month or once a quarter. Go away and do something for yourself. It's not selfish. It's what you need to come back and be the best version of you.
And I totally agree with that, because I do think, you know, it's really hard for women, And especially when you're an older mum and you work full time or you've got your own business, to hold those hats up there. Because, you know, the common trait is people drinking all the time. Well, I don't do that. I don't do that. They go out partying or they're eating loads of chocolate or they're drinking lots of, you know, Prosecco. Don't get me wrong, I do like a Prosecco now and again. Not the chocolate, because I'm not a chocolate person at all.
I'm a chocolate person.
Yeah, I'm not at all. But, you know, very much go down that choice of that's what they do to relax and chill out. I've not really done that. So then when it hits you like it does, it is very much going to that shepherd hut to go in to empty, to release, to just be with nature. And for me, trees are a massive big thing, you know, being in natural's earth and be grounded, not being on a beach. I'd be bored to death. I really would be, you know, it's not for me. So it's finding that thing that is for you. I think that's really important. Regards to the menopause, Marnie, what would you advise the ladies out there if they are feeling any of these feelings or they're fighting against it, which is you know, because it's not talked about, and if it is talked about, it's very much and I'm not saying this is the wrong thing for everybody, but they go down a certain route of getting stuff from a general practitioner. You can do other things and go through this natural course if you want to, with the guided support of yourself. And you know, colonics are amazing during that stage, so important, and understanding that hormone balance and understanding what nutrients that you need to be putting into your body. So what would you advise people to do, like those first stages, to contact yourself, or what would you do? I know I've referred some people recently to you, and it doesn't matter where you are in the United Kingdom or overseas, Marnie will work with you because you do everything on Zoom and stuff, and you do your retreats and stuff as well.
So I think the most important thing, first and foremost, is to reach out. One of the biggest things I've found when I particularly, you know, I work with women individually and I also bring them together collectively, is all of a sudden that, oh my gosh, it's not just me. So reach out and speak, because if, you know, and it's interesting you said early, you know, menopause is 1 day.
Yeah.
So last day of your last period followed by 306, you know, it's like, what?
Yeah.
So the average age of menopause is 51 in the UK. 15 years before that can be perimenopause, where things start to change. And there's different phases of that as well. So I make it really simple. Any woman over the age of 36, as far as I'm concerned, particularly if...
Thank you, because you don't get that. And it's really interesting because I had my smear. I knew. Boo knows how much this is my husband, Steve. I could nickname Boo. But he knew that how much tune I was. And when I knew something was wrong, I asked for a smear. I got declined having a smear. I'd had abnormal cells in a few years ago. I had to have treatment. Lots happened, which would cause a lot of what's happening in my body now. And luckily, I had an amazing nurse, knew all about the menopause. And when she looked in, she went, "You're completely 100% correct." So I knew. So don't be scared, ladies. Don't be scared about the age thing as well. Because that is really important. Because if you have had any abnormal cells or anything changes in your body, and treatment as well, which I won't go into, but treatment, that caused a lot of my effects going into it at an earlier age. Thankfully, I'd had my children, you know, but, you know, it does change things. You know, I've not got sugar coating on my donut anymore, put it that way. in a lovely way. But yeah, so it's lovely to hear you say that, you know, from the age of 36.
Which, I know, like you said, a lot of women are like, fingers and ears, I don't want to know. But the more educated we are, so, you know, my first tip is get educated. You know, when I started in this field, there was like 2 books, you know, Sarah Gottfried and Dr. Christiana Northrup. There's now a raft of amazing women out there sharing their story. A lot of them are sharing where they're at, there's not as many women who have come through the other side and able to share looking that way. Quite a few people are doing it looking that way, and find there's loads of good groups. What I would say though is please get align yourself with groups where there's banter, there's a bit of fun, but there's also really supportive practical advice, rather than pulling you back down the disempowered route. Because I've
sabotage.
Yeah, I've been in quite a few, I've popped into a few groups, and and who am I? But this is just my map of the world. They're disempowering. They keep the women stuck in that. There's nothing you can do. It's just this route. I don't want to do that route. And very little education. On the flip side, I can point you to some amazing groups and some amazing resources that are out there. So make sure, we want to have a bit of banter and a bit of the bitches of menopause. Of course they're there. The flip side of that is how do we get out of that, and how do we empower? Because like I said, for me, it's the red warning light that just says, okay, Mairi, are you looking after... are you eating too much sugar? Because I am the chocolate girl. Is the
and
sugar
that's a really common one. For me, it's not that. It's about me not putting enough calories in.
Yes, which fundamentally we're talking about balancing blood sugars.
Yeah, completely. So I go the extreme.
And I can do that. I can go a day without eating and then wonder. So balancing your blood sugars
is so important.
It's so important. Gut health is so important.
So important.
Liver health, supporting your liver. The thing is, though, what you can do to support you is actually quite simple.
It is.
But guess what? It's not sexy. It's not sexy. So is that it? Balance your blood sugars, drink your water, look after your gut health, and go to bed a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Say no to
and that's boundaries, a big one.
Boundaries.
The no.
Say no.
And also, it's interesting you said about groups and stuff like that. I like a one-to-one.
Yeah.
I feel more safer in that environment and being on the spectrum. I just prefer it, and I connect so well with Marnie. So I feel safe with her. That is important for you to understand that, so you can have one-to-one, but going to that sabotage route, when you actually say no to people around you, where you're always a yes person, they're quite put out. And it's no, you're not being selfish. You're doing it for yourself. You're protecting your well-being. You're protecting yourself.
So that you can be a good mother, sister, lover, friend, and all the rest of it. And, that...
I don't have that energy to give.
Yeah. And also, so I would also invite, a tip is speak to your partner, speak to your family, and just say, this is where I'm at. This is how I'm feeling. And something else I would also advise women who are looking to get empowered is, if you are not feeling yourself anymore and you do go to seek support and you're told you're too young, your blood tests are normal, and you are feeling anything but normal, please, please, please go back and say, I am not satisfied with this response. I would like more information. Where am I on the normal spectrum? Because as both you and I know, you could have been right at either end. One point that way you'd have been X, one point that way you'd have been Y, but you're sat in here. And we want to know how far away we are so that we can come back into that, into that middle spot.
And also you've got to also realise is that certain fields have a certain framework. It depends on their funding. It's where they are on that framework. So for instance, smears, and I'm going to bring this one up because if you've been out the system, even though if you've had a previous record of huge issues and then you've had a clear, they leave it then the 2 years. If you see a problem within those 2 years, you are not allowed to have a smear, okay, unless you pay for it. So I actually paid for my smear, which was not a problem. I had to fight like cat and dog about it and speak to the practice manager about it to get that to be done. Otherwise, if they'd done it, it would have, as soon as it had gone to get the results, they would have rejected it because it wasn't in the framework. And then that would have held me back another several months afterwards because I'd gone for it early.
Yeah.
So please be aware, you have a right. You do have a right. And if you're unsure, just as Marnie says, get a second, third, fourth, fifth. It doesn't matter. Get those opinions, because if you know that something's not right, you need to get it searched out and checked. That is important.
And from an emotional perspective, when you know that you're not feeling well or feeling right, and you are, I call it discombobulated,
yes.
and you're not able to function the way you were, that, we're then talking about leading into depression and, heightened anxiety. And no wonder then so many women end up taking, medication that they don't really want to take, but they want to feel normal again.
Common one's the antidepressant route.
Yeah, well, 1 in 4 women over 40, you know, and it may even be more now, particularly with where, where we're at when we're filming this. So, that my top tips are: get educated, speak to other people, ask for a second opinion, and surround yourself with people that are going to bring you up rather than pull you down. And unfortunately, cut the sugar, and that includes the liquid sugar as well. Sorry, it's got to be said.
It's true. So holistic approach to menopause, Marnie.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you start?
I
know everybody's different. Everybody's different. It depends on what stage they've come at within that cycle. But the first one that you would do if they were in the early stages.
The first thing is a lifestyle overview, and it's really looking at, where's that woman at? What's negotiable? What's non-negotiable? Because we can't all stop work and go and live in a shepherd's hut, and
If only.
So I think for me, the first approach is, let's just do a lifestyle overview, because for a lot of women, very simply, getting the right nutrients back into their body, getting them hydrated, and getting them back into some kind of good sleep routine.
Sleep is so important.
Can be enough to just turn back the dial. I also think the mindset of embracing it might not feel it, and there may be people now throwing things at the screen. This is a transformational time of your life. And the more we can step into it and embrace it,
the better it is.
The better it is, because like anything that we resist and fight and say we don't want, losing weight, we all know the mindset around that. That's a whole nother subject for another day. One I don't touch anymore, because I think there's so many facets in there. But, for me, holistically, and then the big way that I went through it was I sorted out my nutrition first and foremost. Then I looked at what was going on my skin. I looked at my toxicants. And then I introduced essential oils, because for me, that then became this beautiful, natural way to not only smell amazing, because I was no longer able to wear perfumes. And again, we know there's a link to the liver and and all those sorts of things. But also it allowed me to use those natural plant medicines to soothe me, to support my emotional well-being, to ground me, to connect me with nature, whilst also reducing my toxicant load, because I am somebody who had a history of endometritis and my liver was a little bit challenged, so I wanted to be doing everything I could to support my body naturally. And that fundamentally has been what I've used to get me through. Obviously, I have my regular colonics. I do everything. For me, massage isn't a nice to do once a year at a spa. It's a regular part of the process. My partner comes...
That's exactly what I do.
Yeah. My partner comes to you as well. For us, this is about being proactive rather than reactive. Yeah. So that for me is holistic well-being. Getting out in nature. So, being out, connecting, getting my fingers and hands dirty, that's another thing now when we're all, so clean, all the rest of it. No, go and eat some worms,
some grounding going
Absolutely.
On. Go out kayaking, go out rock climbing, be outside, get just the basic fresh air, because that's the one thing I find as well when you work long hours is when I don't get that fresh air, that affects it
Yeah.
hugely.
Yeah.
So important that you get that vitamin D and you get that fresh air. You know, it can be like a 10-minute walk. It could be anything. Take breaks throughout your day where you'll know in the corporate world, and I know in my previous world, what was a break?
Yeah. And we still carry that around. You know, I've been running my own business for almost 11 years, and it took me about 9 or 10 of them to realise that I wasn't working for the man anymore, and I could change my hours, and I didn't have to do 9 to 5 and answer emails immediately, and so on and so forth. And, you know, that is for so many, there may be a lot of entrepreneurs watching this. Who are you working for still? Because, that's the whole point. And the great thing about getting out in nature is it ticks all of the boxes.
Yeah, it does.
You know, you've got those natural phytocyanides from the plants. You're getting all of that. You're getting the fresh air. You're getting the ionides of the water if you're walking through, by a stream and that. You're supporting your gut health because you have got mud on your boots and all of those sorts of things. So sometimes it's about saying, where are the quick wins? Where are the big rocks where we can really make
a big change
quickly and with ease? Because if it's
got to fit in your routine.
Absolutely, which is why the first thing we always have to do is what's negotiable, what's not, what's your lifestyle. And again, one of the great things about working with essential oils, if you've got a busy working mum who's got a kid that can't sleep, then you can use the essential oils to support the whole family's well-being. So I use them, I particularly use them to support hot flushes, support my sleep, support my, digestion, but mostly I use them on an emotional. Do I need grounding today? Do I need uplifting? Do I need to get my shizzle on? Whatever. I
love that word.
Yeah. Do I need to just put a little bit of love back into my, into my body? So there's lots of different ways, but yeah.
So for you right now then, Marnie, I mean, I know that you do a lot of work with one-to-one, but you also work with groups and so on.
Yeah.
Do you want to just tell us at the stages of with the women that you work with, are they all on different stages or and you said that it's the last 2 years were like the hardest for you. Whereabouts are you at now with your stage of your life and the menopause and so on?
Okay, so really, for me, I would say I'm really entering that rocking phase now. I've kind of sussed what's right for me. I've given my body 2 years to come through and settle. I know what works for me now. Sugar, just, I have to be so careful around sugar now, which for someone with an incredibly sweet tooth is really a real challenge. I also got tested. I had my Dutch test done, which for me is a gold standard in testing. That gave me some insights, and I have a really good relationship with that lady, so that I can still message her and go, do you know what, we've just tweaked some things around, bang, sleep's back in, I've got my hydration up, like all of us, we fall off the wagon, but I don't then go, life's, it's like, okay, right, let's put all those things back in place. So for me, I really feel I'm in I get it now. I'm through the other side. It's been a bumpy journey. Sometimes the louder I screamed, the faster we went. We've all come through, global pandemic, and there's still stuff manifesting. That's been a challenge for a lot of people. I've made peace with, I've done a lot of the emotional work. I've cleared, like the tree, like the autumn, I've released what no longer serves. I've let those leaves fall to the ground. I've made sure that my roots are grounded, that they're nourished. And now I'm like, okay, now let's do this.
So you do groups, don't you?
Yeah.
Tell me about these groups, because a lot of people won't understand the groups or what it means, or explain.
Yeah. So I've got two groups. So one of the things I'm also really a huge advocate is of ceremonial cacao, but that might be a whole podcast for another day in the new kitchen, and we can make it and all the rest of it. Because when women come together, magic happens. So one of the groups is very much about simply stepping off the merry-go-round, being held, drinking some really nourishing, warming chocolate, doing some meditation, doing some shares and a bit of journaling. 90 minutes, let's stop off. The other group activity that I do is something that I've called the calling, because I do feel for a lot of women at this time of life, we hear the calling, and the calling is to come back home to ourselves, because this really is a time when we step into who we are.
I believe I'm there.
Yeah,
there.
I think our teens, our 20s, our 30s, we're finding ourselves, we're discovering, we're being what everybody else wants us to be. Am I allowed to swear on this?
Yeah, it's fine.
Then we hit the fuck it 40s and 50s. Yeah, and then it's like, no, now I'm doing me.
Yeah.
Now I am doing me, which I think, again, when you've got young children, can be a bit of a challenge, because there's still that family life, which is so important. So the calling is a 6-month group where we work on retiring Superwoman. So we look at our personal values and belief system. We look at what triggers us. We look at our emotions, emotional allergies. We work through some soft power types. So that's a model that I've been educated in through an organisation called One of Many. And really it's about showing women how they can harness these soft powers. So we've got the Queen, the Mother, the Lover, the Sorceress, and the Warrioress. But the main aim is to retire Superwoman, but still to show up without burning out. So we work together every fortnight. So we come together, we share, we support, we listen. We might comment. We're not there to give advice on anybody else other than myself as the sort of space holder. And then we get in. So, like, for example, yesterday we were looking at emotions, and we were looking at something called trigger tracking. So for the next fortnight, the women are all going to start looking at what triggers them. And now we get triggered all of the time. It's our emotional response. Yeah. Is it an outburst that affects us and others around us? Or do we just go, okay, that's triggered me. That's interesting. I'll just hold that and I'll choose how I'm going to respond, because sometimes we can feel powerless in that way. And so we're just working through that. And I wanted it to be 6 months because, I've been part of the 7 pounds in 7 days and drop a dress. Doesn't work because, and
it's unrealistic.
I was also getting really frustrated because the women would just keep coming back and back and back and back, and it would be like, no, I want you to be able to be in this space where you can hold yourself. So we've gone for 5 to 6 months, so that there's time to do the home fun without feeling like, oh, I've not done it, I'm in trouble, because we're all still showing up as, I'm trying to be the good girl.
Yeah, and also you got learnt behaviours.
Yeah.
You've got to take people's comfort blankets away.
And do it in a nice, easy way, not
taking away the Superwoman is very, very difficult.
Yeah. So that's fundamentally the way, because again, when women come together and hear each other's stories, just like we're talking now, someone is going to resonate and go, okay, oh my God, I feel it's not just me, I'm not worthless, I'm not this, I'm not crazy, all those things. And that for me is really, really important.
Yeah, no, it is. It's really important to have that time. It's not a time frame that you're doing already before you've even started. Oh, and you don't feel like you've achieved anything because you haven't really moved further forward. Some people take longer than others, and that's all it takes, and being patient with yourself. And that's the whole point, is nurturing yourself. So if you're rushing it through, you're never going to succeed. So you need that time. And some people be longer.
Some people might do 2 or 3 cycles.
Yeah, totally.
And, again, these are the lessons I've learned. We don't change it overnight, and even last night as I was talking and sharing something, I'm now sitting with what came up for me and reflecting on, okay, so how is that sitting with me? What do I need to do anything around it, or is it just something I need to be aware of? Is it something I need to let go? Or all of that good stuff. And fundamentally, Michelle, I have become the woman I would have run away from 5 years ago. To think that I'm sat here having this kind of conversation with somebody like yourself, I'd have been like, yeah, all right, leave you two to it. I'm over here telling you this is the physical, 1 and 1 equals 2, and if you haven't done it, why haven't you done it? There must be something wrong with you. I ain't the truth anymore. That is not the truth.
That's so funny. Oh dear, it just shows how far we can go and who we're meant to be, really.
And
overcoming those those difficult phases, about challenges of ourselves, that we have to unpeel that clothing to actually realise who we actually are.
Yeah.
Because we've been conditioned to be a certain way and be seen a certain way, but to be listened in a certain way. I mean, you don't reach out to those people, you know. So no, for me, it's a breath of fresh air, because there needs to be more people that are real.
Yeah.
Because there isn't.
Yeah.
And they need to start waking up a little bit, get that gut moving. And it is, you know, the gut, and getting those toxins out and releasing and getting those hormones balanced, and knowing that you actually are listened to instead of ignored, which you're giving them that space to be able to feel that they're safe is an amazing thing.
Yeah.
You also do with your essential oils, which I'm fascinated about, and we are going to do another podcast on this. But you can use essential oils in so many other ways.
Yeah.
For instance, you know, cleaning products.
Mm-hmm.
You can add it to cleaning your floors. And tell me a little bit about that, Marnie, the things that you did. You were doing so over the weekend. You were cleaning something up, weren't you? So it's special to you. You were cleaning something up with your essential oils, and people will go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What's that? No. Are you not using any detergent on it? No.
Yeah.
Tell us.
So the weekend story was actually using, as Granny would have done it, I inherited a coal scuttle, a brass coal scuttle that was my granny's, was my mum's. It might even be older, I don't know, but it's in a photo of me just after I was born as well. So, you know, that coal scuttle has been in my life. And I don't know how many years of tar and smoke and everything, but I wanted to clean it up naturally. Yeah. So for me, I've just Googled something on the Tinternet, as you do, and it was white vinegar. Yep, check, I've got that. Flour, yep, I've got gluten-free flour that I never bake with. I can do that. Salt, okay, let's give this a go. Oh my God. It's absolutely transformed it. And, you know, you could have added some lemon oil in there. Lemon oil is really good for getting rid of sticky.
I'd get the lemon oil in there.
Yeah.
Marnie knows how much I like lemon.
So lemon's really good for focus
and
concentration. So if you're somebody that's got to, you know, get focus, but get your lemon on. But it's also really, and we know we use lemon in so much, don't we? So it gets rid of stickiness, clears grease, and so on and so forth. And fundamentally, it's just making, you know, sprays and stuff using Castile soap, a little bit of vinegar, some distilled water, and then adding whatever scent I want, because most oils, they have a clean, you know, there's cleaning properties to them, and we're just using natural product. And the main reason being, again, is one, I've turned into my mother. I cannot tolerate fake smells. I mean, my mum, I couldn't even wear perfume for years, so I can now with essential oils. But two, you know, cleaning products. We thought Dan used to be intolerant to the cat. He wasn't. He was intolerant to the air fresheners. You know, those plug-ins that I had going.
Well, look at you know, Dan first came to me to have blood test done. Yeah. And look where he is now. Yeah. It's astonishing. Yeah. His skin, everything. Yeah. It's marvellous, you know, and that's with the work that we've done together. Yeah. And look where he's at now. Yeah. It's fantastic. He got everything going on. Yeah. Didn't he? Yeah. He did have everything going on with him.
Yeah. So we use them as bathroom sprays, floor cleaners, and again, I have some pre-bought products, or I might add essential oil, make up my own. It's so simple to do, and it's so cost effective.
Look out for this space. We're going to be showing you guys some of these tips and so on. And they'll be on my podcast, but they'll also be on my website and so on. I've got a new website that's being built. It's taken a little bit longer than expected, but that's life for you. So it'll be all on there.
Because also, sorry, I'm just going to bump in. Even creating a room spray that supports the mood, or might make your children feel less grumpy, and all the rest of it.
My kids love lime. Yeah, they love lime.
Zest for life. Yeah, you know, the citrus oils are really beautiful oils to work with.
And I love frankincense.
The oil of truth.
What are your 5 top tips for people to use in their home now, in the autumn? That's quite a difficult one, because there's so many that you could use.
What, essential oils?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first tip would...
I should have been better with the question. I'm sorry, Marnie.
Not at all.
Yeah.
No, so the top 5 oils. So obviously we want to be supporting our respiratory and our immune system.
Yeah.
So I would be looking I could give you blend names, but that isn't going to be helpful if you're not working with particular blends. You want to be looking for oils that have got things like clove in them, that have got got a citrus like an orange in there, lemon, some rosemary, maybe some tea tree. So that makes quite a nice protective blend. Oils like eucalyptus, peppermint, any of the sort of pine oils as well, they're really good for, helping to clear the air and cleanse. And some of those oils as well are really good at boundaries. So, that might be...
I like that.
That might be supportive in that way. So for me, I would be saying, think about autumn anyway, and think about the scents that you connect with there. So
what if you're struggling with autumn? Like for me, when we first met each other, Marnie, I need help.
So I would look at the citrus oils, bringing in that sunshine. So things like lemon, things like orange, tangerine, something that's
it brings you light.
It brings you the lime, just all those oils that are about a zest for life and helping to sort of clear and cleanse as well. So you could blend those in a little bit. And ginger's really warming. It's empowering. Ginger and lime is a beautiful combination. So again, what I tend to say to people is smell your oils and what makes you go, because what makes you go on a Tuesday won't necessarily be what you need on a Wednesday. So I would want to be looking at essential oils that are going to support your immunity, clear the air, release any stagnation, and like you said, bring some sunshine and joy in if you're feeling. But on the flip side, that might be in the daytime, but as you go into the evening, you might want to bring some grounding oils in just to help
with your adrenals,
calm, support the adrenals. So my favourite blend for the adrenals is basil, rosemary and clove.
Good old basil. I love basil.
I love vetiver, which is a really heady root, some sandalwood. Some of these oils are expensive, but
it's interesting. That's Boo's favourite, sandalwood.
Yeah. So, again, just those really beautiful, nourishing sort of hygge, wrapping up. You've got your wood fire going, got the blanket on. You might want to do a little foot massage or something on the back of the neck and just help bring the body back into parasympathetic system.
Yeah. And you also, like Marnie does beads as well. Guys, as you can see, she's got on her. Normally I have as well, but I've got
matching. You're doing matching today.
But you also, with Marnie makes these and she'll custom build them for you to suit your personality type, but also she'll send you little samples so she can get a gist of what you actually are looking for and then ask you loads of questions. So everything, like what I do in the clinic, is tailored to you, and that is so important. So thanks ever so much today, Marnie. I can't wait for the future podcasts that we've got coming. Very, very exciting. Look out for them. There'll be a link on this with Marnie's details of her website and address, and also with regards to the essential oils and so on, you can get them from myself and you can get them through Marnie. So I will always be getting guidance from Marnie. Marnie's the queen. I'm down here with her guidance, but yet we're here to help you. So don't be scared. There's lots of things that hopefully I've reached out to lots of people out there, whether it's oils, whether it's going on Marnie's groups, or just to talk, reach out to that. Don't be suffering in silence. That's the biggest thing. Thank you.
Hell no.
Namaste.
Namaste.